Conservative and sometimes controversial Christian ideas. Welcome to Labeled an Extremist. Hello everyone, my name is DPMashup, the official co-host of Labeled an Extremist. In today's video, we are going to be discussing dating and courtship, specifically moving from self-centeredness to selflessness. I have the one and only host of our show, Labeled an Extremist, here with me, who will be answering a few questions and expanding on this topic. So, tell us a bit about this topic that you wrote an article on in your blog recently.
This really is an issue of selfishness and selflessness. Have you ever entered your home address into Google Maps and then entered another address and watched it as it zoomed out from your address and then back into the other address? Well, now imagine those addresses represented not your home, but rather your heart and someone else's. That's courtship in a nutshell, the gradual move from your heart to another's, while blocking out the rest of the world in a healthy manner and focusing in on the one that matters most. Dating is the reverse of that and more like spawning at an address. You begin at an address and then zoom back out to see the world while losing focus on the one person who matters the most.
Okay, so how does this relate to selfishness and selflessness?
Well, when we're born, we come into this world with a maximum load of self-centeredness. It's all about us, and the world is at our beck and call. In most cases, the first person that mattered to you was your mom. Now, if we think of the Google concept, she would be considered home. Soon after, you took notice of others within your family, and they became your Google Map neighbors. Then came extended family, friends, and acquaintances, also known as the neighborhood. People within the community became your subdivision.
Okay, maybe I missed something, but how does this Google Map concept relate to selfishness and selflessness?
While this is all transpiring from birth to toddler days, the natural ebb and flow of life demanded that your selfishness subside. Take friendships, for example, also known as your city, in this case. These relationships brought lessons of selflessness through sharing toys and working well with others. Elementary days turned into high school, college, and so on, and by the time you start looking for that one special person, you're still exercising selfishness to a certain degree. You look for what appeals to you and what a relationship with that particular person can do for you.
Okay, so now what?
This is where you must choose what direction you will go, dating or a courtship. Dating, in effect, is a repeat of the process I just described from birth, and it stifles the room for growth towards selflessness. For another conceptual picture, think back to the greater than and lesser than symbols from elementary math. In the dating scenario, the greater than symbol is on the left, representing you, and the lesser than symbol is on the right, representing your crush. Dating starts off by locking eyes on your crush and absorbing yourselves into each other's lives. Typically, a level of commitment is already established by the time friends and close family members become involved. As your relationship progresses, however, your vision finally begins to widen again, and by the time you're married, you are now coming to terms with the family traits and tendencies, but it's much too late to back out now, and you have ushered in a plethora of discontented comparisons.
And how does that compare to the old-fashioned idea of courtship?
Courtship is a fulcrum point of sorts. Rather than a repeat process, it is instead a transformation from selfishness into selflessness, where you learn to put the cares of another ahead of your own. Going back to the math symbols, the lesser than symbol is on the left, representing you, and the greater than symbol is on the right, representing your crush. In effect, you are moving from the desires of your own heart to that of the desires of someone else's.
So what would that look like with the Google Map concept?
Instead, when you spot someone who may fit the bill, so to say, then you passively observe their behavior toward each person that they come into contact with. All the while, each of you are remaining in your own separate worlds. These two worlds slowly begin to merge as you become involved in group activities which would be similar to the concept of one country acknowledging another within the world. Effectively, you are advancing through the layers, just like the character Shrek. Observing their interactions amongst closer relationships, such as friends and acquaintances, means you've entered their state. Observing their personal interactions with family means you've entered their city. But here is where it gets confusing. You are checking your fit with the family at this point, not your crush.
Okay, so when does that part come into the picture?
That's their subdivision in this Google Maps case, and that's when you are officially courting your potential spouse while considering the neighborhood, which is where you focus on the things of their heart. Engagement means you have found yourself a neighbor or partner for life, and you continue to zoom in on deeper matters of their heart. Marriage is the point of home, where the merge is complete in the utmost sense of unity, and the focus on the heart of your spouse materializes in the two becoming one, such as in Mark chapter 10, verse 8. At this point, you have made it through what would otherwise be numerous distractions to your future relationship, and now know their deepest cares and concerns on the most intimate of levels through a natural and gradual process. Again, think to the analogy of entering your home, or in this case, heart address, into Google Maps, and then entering the heart address of another and watching as it zooms out from yours and then back into theirs. Dating, or spawning, is often where counterfeit exchanges and intimate transactions occur, causing hearts to get broken. Effectively, you have impatiently skipped the process and settled for something less than authentic and spiritually transformative. Marriage is intended to help the two grow in a likeness of Christ. One of these methods has the potential to do that, the other not so much. Reading into the math symbolism a little further, you see that with dating, you are greater than someone else. With courtship, you are lesser, which looks more like Christ.
But couldn't selfishness be present throughout either scenario, and couldn't dating look like courtship in many ways?
Yes, but that is dependent entirely on the purity of the heart and spiritual discipline. Courtship naturally and comparatively maximizes your ability to grow spiritually and allows you to effectively exercise the fruits of the Spirit, which are love in the purest sense, joy, peace, absolutely patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and overall self-control in this instance.
Do you have any other Bible verses that might help in making a decision on this issue?
Definitely. Galatians chapter 5 verse 24 goes on to say, "Those who belong to Christ Jesus have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires." What a beautiful picture courtship is of that as you work through denying yourself of such pleasures until the appropriate time. So you can embrace the opportunity and rewarding blessings that courtship offers, or you can gamble with the faux version. It's your future and your choice, but don't let the herd mentality guide you. Be watching for a future blog on matters of origins of dating, awakening love, and involving your parents as a follow-up to this blog. But definitely check out the movie Princess Cut, and you can find a trailer of that on YouTube. It is also available on multiple streaming services.
Thank you all for watching Labeled an Extremist. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more, then be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We hope to see you all again, but for now we've got to get working on our next video for you. So see you later!